Hey, it's Cate Stillman, and in this lesson is how to apply the 5 words to your space, so your environment. I look at all of my stuff as paying rent in resonance. So every object in here, say my home mortgage is $3,000 a month. I might look at all my stuff in the space as like, is it actually contributing to the vibration of my space? So in the philosophy of yoga and Ayurveda, like long ago, basically when yogis would sit and meditate, they experienced that the environment, it resonates, that there's vibration, that vibration is something that is part of what we naturally perceive as human beings. So we're naturally perceiving, like, what's the vibe? What is the vibration in our atmosphere? Now, all the different things in our home have all the different objects, say, even in our closet and our drawers and our environment, our furniture, etc. All of the stuff is what is actually contributing to the vibration. It's creating the vibration in the environment that we're in. So when we look at how to design our space, we really want to go back to what are the 5 words. We did the 5 words exercise where we looked at how we want to be in the world, how we want other people to see us, how we want to appear physically, what we want to feel mentally and emotionally, and then around just materialism in general, how we want to experience that world, and what is the possibility we want to step into. So we wrote down all the words, and you got clear on what exactly are the 5 words that this is who you are. This is who you want to become next, and you want to be that today. So we want to apply that to our world of things. In the Marie Kondo method, she has a very simple way of going about this, which is every single thing in your environment should spark joy. And the way you do that is you run it by your inner joy detector, which is your heart center. In Ayurveda or yoga, we would say your 4th chakra, your heart center. So if these glasses, if I hold them to my heart, and I feel joy, I feel that my heart actually sparks joy. Like, yeah, this feels right. I have resonance with this, these glasses, with this object, right? Then this is connection. This will actually increase the vibration that I want to experience more in the atmosphere that I'm living in. Say I have a pair of glasses that don't spark joy. Say these ones, for instance, I hold them to my heart and I'm like, I don't like the look. I don't like the feel. Then I would put this in the discard pile, in the bring to the thrift store or donation pile, give to a friend pile. So when you're assessing your environment, like, what do you want your home to feel like? What do you want your office to feel like? What do you want your kitchen to feel like? Your refrigerator? What do you want your bedroom to feel like? What do you want your car, if you have an automobile, to feel like? And just really looking like throughout your entire house and feeling and saying, hey, what are the 5 words? So we're back to the 5 words exercise, but we're applying the 5 words to space. We're saying, hey, what do I want to experience in my space? So you might see in Master of You in the book, I chose the 5 words when I was designing my new home with my family. And in the 5 words that we centered on were 1, that is modern; 2, that it's utilitarian or it's useful. It's like the spaces that we would create, that they're useful to us, that they're stylish and what we felt is stylish, that they're spacious. We wanted a feeling of spaciousness. Our other home did not have that. And in that it naturally facilitated a communal experience. So we wanted the experience of community. We wanted the experience of connection or interaction. So these were the 5 words that we chose in designing our home. And we built it basically from a piece of graph paper into the manifestation of what it is. And of course, then it is these things. Our space then reflects these 5 attributes or these 5 words. So before you sort your stuff, Marie Kondo style, in terms of what sparks joy, I often find it's really useful to actually just decide what is the kind of vibration that you want. If you want the vibration to be, if you want it to be stylish, if you want it to be modern, or if you want it to be a different style, how you want your space to be. Some of you want your space to feel inspiring. So when you're doing that, then you sort through, and we'll go through the Marie Kondo method of first sorting your clothes and then sorting your books and then sorting your paper and going through all of the steps in that. It can be very helpful to get clear on what are the 5 words that reinforce your space, that really you want someone to walk in and be like, oh my gosh, your office feels so spacious, or wow, I love the modern feel of your house. So this is something that other people could see. I had a realtor come into our house and she's like, it's so modern, but all the space is so useful, right? And this is how it's so fascinating, right? It's like if we really get it right, other people will actually reflect these 5 words back to us. So just like we did in the past exercise with words, we first looked at getting a lot of words, then going into thesaurus, then reducing it to 5 words, and then to a sticky note with those 5 words. You might see in this that there's an iteration that we're doing. We're simply applying 5 words to something now different than just you and how you want to feel. We're actually looking at using that in space, or the ether, or the akasha, the vibratory space that reflects back onto you. So there's a well-understood concept in behavioral science that you can architect your environment to enforce the identity and the habits that you want to have next. And that's very much what we're doing, is we're saying, okay, you have these 5 words around your identity. Now we're going to get more specific just in terms of your space. You're going to identify what are the 5 words that you really want to experience more of. So you're going to surround yourself with objects that reflect that. And you're going to get to a point where you reduce your objects so that you just really have exactly what you want. And that when you then arrange your space, it'll reflect these 5 words. And what that does is it actually elevates who you're becoming next. It also helps with this identity evolution and this plasticity that like you actually have a lot of control over your environment. So often the question comes up like, hey, I live with other people. How does this whole space stuff sorting actually work? I find that it's useful for me personally to know like the places that I control. Like I control, for the most part, I control my office. No, I entirely control my office. For the most part, I control my car. There's often a lot of children that go in and out of my car, so I have to get them on board with this is my car and these are the rules in my car, etc. So these are areas that for me I can totally control. The places where I need to merge more with others are like home, kitchen, bedroom I share with my spouse, right? And so this is where I want to come on board with what are the things in our communal spaces. How do we want that to be together? And this is so super helpful for living with other people that you're agreeing on these, because then, say for instance, your space gets cluttered, and one of your words was something around like in our spacious, like clutter really decreases the experience of spaciousness. But you could use a word like clean or pristine, or the feeling is organized, right? That might be a great word that you want to feel, especially if you're disorganized and you're craving order. That might be a word that you would all agree on, and then you can actually give feedback and coach each other to that, especially if that becomes one of your values. We have a family value that our spaces are neat, clean, and in good repair. And this helps us to then say like, hey, because we own a number of properties, hey, this property needs our attention because it's, it needs stain on the building, or it needs new concrete or whatnot. So again, the more clear you are on personally, how you want to experience space, the more you're then clear collectively on what words you need to really get clear on together. Hey, this is how we want our place to feel. What happens is if you're doing this right, if you're doing this from a place that's both grounded and clear, what'll happen is it'll be really inspiring, because all of a sudden you're able to actually overcome and change your environment in line with how everyone is changing and evolving and wanting to feel next. So I hope that's helpful. Find the 5 words for your space if you live communally. Also find the ones for your common spaces. Again, go back to the sticky notes part of it, and so that you can remind, you're rewiring your mind, you're creating strong neural networks and saying, hey, this is how our space will be now, from now forward. And that will change your actions and change your behavior. One example of this is, say, your refrigerator. Say every time you open your refrigerator door, right, and you open it, and inside it just seems like it's just clutter and there's just stuff everywhere, and it's really messy. So what you might ask yourself is like, how do I want to feel when I open my refrigerator door? And you might feel like you want to feel inspired to eat foods that are living or fresh or good for you. You might want it to be organized. You might want it to be clean, right? And so in here, now you're getting a good sense of like, what are some of the words that are actually describing who you are becoming next. The more specific you are, the easier it is to act on. And that's what I really find. So if inspired, you don't really have a good sense of what that is, then you'd want to get a good sense of what that actually is. Sometimes people find in this phase, looking through magazines really helps, whether it's a magazine like Dwell or Architecture Digest or other magazines that have to do with home, can be really inspiring to you to find like exactly what do I want the look and feel? How would I describe that? What are some of the words that I would use to describe just that? And then moving forward with figuring out your words, reminding yourself of that. Then when you're going through sorting, it's this self, it's this future self who is now, you're really clear on who you're becoming and how this person's home and car and office, kitchen, bathroom, how they feel, how they resonate, right? What the vibe is in there. And then you're actually able to make decisions of like, that has got to go because that doesn't match any of these 5 words. Now you're using Chip Conley's method of how he would create a boutique hotel, his 5-word exercise in order to design space. And you're using that in your own boutique home or apartment experience. All right, so get on it.